everybody on the upright bass fiddle, Mr. Johnny Ringo. Come on.
We mean on.
Yeah, we really mean on the bass.
Oh, man. That's not easy, man.
Come on, that's not easy. Come on.
His yoga teacher taught him how to do that.
Johnny!
All right.
The PCTV network proudly presents the Red Horse Motoring Club's first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering. Hi everyone, Steve Carabatis here at 3rd and Hanover Street, the old Ludwig Motors facility, where there's a brand new concept happening in car clubs. Tonight's this grand opening where they're offering all sorts of free food. There's a band, there's all sorts of cars here, all sorts of automobilia. It is a wonderful thing to come into this Pottstown area. And we're going to be speaking to the people who have started this. We're going to be speaking to a whole bunch of artists. We're going to be speaking to some of the patrons as well and just get the take for what's going on here in Pottstown. So stay tuned as we bring this to you for the next half hour or so. We're at the first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering here at the Red Horse Motoring Club. And I bumped into this fella here, and he looks pretty important. You look like you're walking around like you know everybody. Who are you exactly?
My name's Chuck Harders, and I am one of the 3 owners here at Red Horse.
Okay, and where are you from, Chuck?
I grew up in Essington, Pennsylvania, right behind the airport.
And what brought you all the way to Pottstown?
Yeah. Well, a few things. Number one, one of my partners had just bought the building, and we've been hunting a building to do this concept of a private car club at a higher level, different than what almost anybody's doing out there. It's been my concept for a while. I've been wanting to do it. I was in the military for 30 years and I couldn't do it. I retired and said, okay, it's time to do it. He had this building, and after I started doing a lot of research, I realized what an incredible community of car owners and clubs and events surround the Tri-County area around here. So after looking at it for a while, we had a few other spots in mind, and we decided on Pottstown.
Okay, and so you've been an avid fan of the classic car for a long time. Do you have any of your own classic cars that are going to be in here?
I do. Well, I kind of started out, my life in the antique world in this genre started out with signs and gas pumps and neons and all the stuff you see all over the building. And I did that for 10, 12 years while I was in the military. And with that, of course, comes cars and motorcycles, and the guys that love cars love old dealership neons, and the guys that love old gas pumps love hot rods and cool cars. So as I got more serious in my collecting in signs and gas pumps, then came the cars, of course. And several in here are mine. The 57 Bel Air's mine, the boat behind you, 57 Cadillac boat's mine, the 47 Caddy's mine, and the 39 Ford, and then I got some motorcycles in here. Yeah, so that's it. I'm really a motorcycle guy more than cars. I mean, that's my first love. Early bikes, old Indians, old, cool two-wheelers. But, I mean, how do you beat a 57 convertible, Bel Air?
The 57 Chevy is certainly the iconic car of our generation for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the automobilia. You say that you started collecting signs, you started collecting gas pumps and stuff like that. Was this in the days before eBay, let's say?
No, I didn't. I'm not a big eBayer, but thinking back, no, I think eBay was going on maybe when I started 12 years ago. I think eBay was around, but I don't think this stuff was real big on it yet. It really didn't catch on. The reality of signs and gas pumps and all for 30, 40 years, it's just been guys like me that just love cool signs. And the car guys really weren't in it and weren't really checking that scene out. And only in about, I'd say in the past 7, 8, 9 years, the car guys, the really serious car guys that have 30 cars in their building and 70 cars in their collection, you'd go into their buildings and there'd be 70 incredible cars and nothing hanging there. And those guys have really jumped in it in the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years, and now they're transforming their collections because you can go into in my opinion, and I think a lot of people, you can go into a car collection with 30 Duesenbergs in there. They're all amazing $1 million cars, but it's boring. And you tell that to guys that have those collections, they look at you like you have 3 heads. And then they trust in you to maybe build a collection for them and turn it into something like this, and it just transforms the whole space. It's day and night difference.
Absolutely. As we walked around, I called it, looks like the ultimate man cave in here to be able to see that. So where'd you get this stuff? How far have you traveled, let's say, to get some of this stuff?
All over America. You gotta, I started out just getting in my pickup truck when I wasn't deployed. I was down in Jacksonville, Florida. I'd have a weekend off, or I'd come back from deployment, and I'd just get in my old Chevy 2500 and head out in Florida, really, just digging old buildings and that looks like an old junkyard, get in there and find stuff. And then as you grow and you get more and more serious, you realize that while there is still things to be found out in the wilderness, and there is, 100% there's still great finds out there, the good stuff is really in collections. So you gotta, as you grow into this, you start learning who all the collectors are around the country. And then I got to the point where I didn't just hop in my truck and just go hunting, because I'd spend all weekend burning gas in hotels and finding nothing. You then save up some money and go hit a collection. And then talk to that guy and, hey, who's got stuff around here? And go hit that collection. And that's how you really get some rare stuff. And in this building, there's some really rare stuff. There's some one-off pieces in here. And you could find it out in a barn, but most likely you're not going to.
So if you had to pick one thing in here that you're like, this is my proudest piece, we'll video it for sure, but what would it be?
Oh, Lord, my proudest piece. I don't know. Oh, that's a hard one. I started out in gas pumps. So, someone's yelling for me. Hey! I started out gas pumps. So I'd have to say one of my early simplex gas pumps is probably one of my favorite pieces. But that's like, what kid is your favorite?
Right. Well, where did you get that simplex? Where did it come from?
Another collector. The Musco one over there I traded with a buddy. See, now once you get into the collector to collectors, sometimes you don't want to spend any money. And this guy's got this, and this guy's got that. I had a good sign he wanted. He had the gas pump. Boom, you do a trade, and you're both happy, The serious collectors, it seems like trading, because you're both taken care of, and you don't have to put some money out that day. There's some guys out there that like to crush you in a trade. Of course, they want to trade you, a $10 piece for a $2,000 piece. But most people are pretty fair in trading once you get into the collectors that and really appreciate and like. So I traded for that one, and then that one, man, I've had it for about 6-7 years. I don't even remember. I can't even remember.
So what is the theme of tonight? We have this annual Paint Huffers Union gathering. It says what's going on tonight, and then explain how that's different from what's happening tomorrow.
Okay. So when I was, one of the artists that I work with for about 10 years now is named Egor, and I'll introduce you to him in a little bit. He's over there pinstriping something. So Egor and I probably have done 100 projects together. I'd get an old pump, and instead of putting a $5 vinyl sticker on there, I'd take it to Egor, and he'd do an amazing painting of that gasoline or whatever, the images I needed. And once I told him that I was going to get my own building, this was probably 2-3 years ago, I said the first event I'm going to do is an artist event, because what happens with the artists is they just go to all the car shows like the Syracuse National or Hershey, and they're spread out all over the place. So you'll see them at those shows, but there's no real congregation of them. You know what I mean? They just get their tent like everybody else, set up, and people walk by, and if they get a gig, they get a gig. I wanted a gathering of all car artists, pinstripers, sign painters, and guys that do car art in one place for one weekend so people can come and really appreciate them, because the other side of the pinstripers and the sign painters is they're not appreciated like a fine artist. Right, so someone that paints the flower or this or that. The Fine Art Society, it's a different crowd, right? So I wanted to blend the Fine Art Society with the car guy paint stripers together in one night or one weekend of them all together, so the public can come in and see the different kinds of art happening. And that's what we did here. The majority of artists here tonight are pinstripers and sign painters. but we have blended it throughout the building, local artists that do whatever they do. I don't care what you do. Paint it and have fun, and the people are coming, and hopefully they'll see something that they love and buy a nice original piece of art.
And what do we have going on tomorrow then?
So, kind of same thing, just all day. Tonight was like the VIP party, meet the artists, get in before the open public tomorrow. Dibs and the Detonators, rockabilly bands playing tonight. So it's really a night VIP party tonight, and then tomorrow is just all day. Bring your hot rod out, bring your favorite car out, mingle, look at the art, have fun.
So give me an idea of your vision from here on out. Let's look at maybe a 5-year plan, 10-year plan. What do you hope this becomes down the road?
My 5-year vision is to probably have 3 or 4 clubs in this area. I'd like to redefine what a car club is. Right now, there's probably 30 car clubs in this area. It's all paper clubs, right? It's all just on paper. They meet at the Dunkin' Donuts, or they meet at the basement of this church once a month, but nobody really has a home. So I'd like to see a congregational area for car clubs and car people, and that was my initial concept. A private car club, you can become a member for a cheap price, an inexpensive price. The average guy can't buy $1 million building, and they can't fill it with $1 million in petroleum, automobilia, and cars. But if you become a social member, this now becomes yours. So you can't afford the Ultimate Man Cave. I couldn't, most guys can't, but now you can. So that's the one side of it. The second side of it is kind of redefining what a car club should be. And a lot of the car clubs, the paper car clubs, are coming to me now and asking, hey, could this be our home? Could this be our clubhouse? And it absolutely can. And 5 years, I'd like to see 3 of them in this area. 10 years, I don't know. We'll see.
It's really exciting, and of course I've already walked around to see everything. We're going to let our viewers in on basically every room in here, upstairs, downstairs, every room, so we're going to have a great time with this. I speak on behalf of everyone when I say thank you for your service, for 30 years of serving your country, and we wish you only the best of luck here in Pottstown.
Thank you very much. I loved every day of my 30 years in the Navy, and my time came, and now this is what I'm doing, and I love it.
Thank you, Chuck. Good luck.
I was wrong. Now you're gone. I should have known.
Well, Chuck spoke about some of the artists that are here today, and I'm speaking to one right now. And your name, sir?
Dwayne Connett.
Dwayne, how long have you been doing art?
Well, I've been doing pinstriping and signs on cars since 1980 in this local area, actually. So probably about 40-some years.
Wow. So is that all you do, or is there something else that you've done?
No, this is what I do for a full-time living. It's day in and day out, generally 5 days, but sometimes 6 days a week.
So explain to me, Dwayne, like when you were deciding that this is what you were going to do, how did you come to the conclusion, I think I want to do pinstriping for a living?
Well, it's kind of a funny story, actually. I grew up in a little gentleman's farm, so I knew how to milk cows. I don't like cars. I don't do mechanical things, so how I ended up in the automotive field is anybody's guess. But realistically, I met my wife, moved into this area, and I needed to do something, so I took a job putting vinyl stripes on cars, saw somebody painting, and I thought, how hard could that be? And I found out that it took 4 years to actually get to be moderately awful.
So, in your estimation, how many cars do you think you've done in your lifetime?
At one point, somebody asked me that, and I do body shops and car dealerships predominantly, so in any given day, I might do between 10 to 15 cars. And so in a 20-day month of working, it could be as many as 200 to 300 cars in a month. So in 40 years, that's a lot of cars.
That adds up. I like that. It's a lot of cars. So You don't just do car pinstriping. You obviously have some work here on display as well. What else do you do?
Well, I do some artwork, but most of the artwork that I do, and I am self-taught, I didn't go to school for any of this, but the artwork that I do is kind of related to the car industry as well. Like this panel here to this side of me, that's just the type of work that you would see on a bank safe or, you know, kind of the turn of the century type of scroll work. But some of the other stuff that we do that's a more modern style is what they call a 1950s or Von Dutch style pinstriping. And so that's done on motorcycles, cars, and trucks. And so most of my artwork, it kind of incorporates both art and that pinstriping style in whatever form it is, whether it's from the turn of the century or from the 1950s.
And how did you find out about this club to be able to be here today?
A friend of mine who I've known through the years is down in Virginia Beach, or used to be, and he became friends with the owner of this club, and they were out doing the front face of the building. So when he posted up on Instagram, I gave my friend a hard time about it, and he said, oh, well, we're going to put a deal together here at the Red Horse. Why don't you come? And I only live 40 minutes away, so I thought, hey, it's my backyard. I've got to be here.
Fantastic, and we're so glad that you are here. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Best of luck to you with your endeavors from here on out. Sounds like you really found your calling in life.
Well, thank you very much, and it is a passion indeed.
So we're stalking some artists here in their natural element here. And your name, sir?
Rooster.
And how long have you been doing artwork?
Basically started like in the early 80s and really got into it heavy probably in 90s. And I just love it, man. I do a lot of truck lettering, boat lettering. Boat lettering is a major part of it. And doing the pinstriping on hot rods, street rods. I do a lot of panel jams as far as charity stuff for different events like Artie's Party in Syracuse, the Street Rod Nationals, which the money goes to Ronald McDonald House. And then also in Milwaukee, that's the Pinstripe Legends, and then also Chicago Brushmasters. So do a lot of stuff like that and just enjoy doing it, hanging out with friends from all over. Met people from through social media, the people you met through social media, then you see them and meet them in person, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, certainly the difference between the 2-dimension of the social media and the 3-dimension of seeing the people eye to eye is a big difference.
But it's pretty amazing that you kind of, what you judge the person to be is a lot of times it works out just by what you write to each other, their comments on your work, your comments on their work, and works out pretty good.
Now, you gave me a whole laundry list of stuff you do there. I imagine this is all you do, I would think. You don't do anything else?
Actually, I worked at the Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority, and Monday was my last day. I just retired. 22 years.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So now this is my full-time gig.
So what are you working on right here? What do we got going on right in front of us?
Panel in the center. And it's pinstriped outline, and then I'm just going to add some more pinstriping to pretty it up a little bit.
Is that a commission work, or is that just something you're doing?
Something that's going to hopefully sell here. You know, we made a bunch of stuff here, and there's a lot of people into cars, hot rods, street rods, antiques, whatever, signs, and sometimes it's nice, something nice to hang on a wall. You know.
So if you're working for Triborough Bridge, you're not from around these parts here. So where are you from?
From New York, Staten Island, New York. And I worked a good part of my career on the Verrazano Bridge. I used to work on their surveillance cameras. So I used to climb up to the top of the bridge, work up there quite a bit. And also the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel and the Queens Midtown Tunnel and all the other Triborough Bridge and Tunnel facilities.
So how's a New York boy find out about something going on down here in Pottstown?
Actually through a good friend of mine, Egor, who in July, when they needed the wall done here, he called me up and asked me if I was busy to give him a hand because it was a big job. So I came up and we spent 2 days here and we lettered the front of the building.
It looks fantastic. We got some shots of it out there, too. It's a great job out there.
Thank you very much.
Well, good luck to you this weekend, and good luck in your retirement as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
all for you. I was wrong, now you're gone. I should have known from the start. Someone like you will only be the blue and break my whole heart. Blue teardrops fall. Blue teardrops.
We're here continuing our tour of the artists here. What you didn't see as we went to this cut was that we were watching this gentleman here paint this amazing stuff. Sir, what is your name?
Dan Danzabaker.
And Dan, how long have you been doing this kind of work?
Almost 40 years.
40 years. What prompted you to start? Where did you say, hey, I think I want to start doing this?
I was always interested in the old hot rods and pinstriping, and when I was back in high school, commercial art was a course available in Votech, and I took that, and I was lucky to have a teacher that the first course we had was lettering and pinstriping. And then when I was in 12th grade, I got the opportunity to work at Kunda Sign Company, which used to be in King of Prussia, in 1978. And then I went out on my own in 1980, and now I pretty much specialize in doing work on fire trucks.
Well, it's fantastic work being done here. So you're an independent contractor, I would assume?
Yes, I'm self-employed.
And how often do you get commissioned to do a job?
The most of my work is the fire truck work, and I'm booked usually several months in advance, and I do work for the dealerships or for the fire companies, or I also have a guy that does antique restorations in the Hardeysville area, and they're for fire companies and museums, and then I get several of them. I usually do 1 or 2 of them a year.
You know, I would be remiss not to mention that you probably have the most awesome beard here as well.
Thank you very much. It's about 10 years old, so.
Well, it doesn't look a day over 7, so it looks
good.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck to you this weekend.
All right, thank you much.
Steve Karabatis with the PCTV Network here at the Red Horse Motoring Club, their first annual Paint Huffers Union gathering, I should say, and at the old Ludwig Motors building, and we're roaming around talking to all the artists, and I've encountered a young man right here. What's your name, sir?
How you doing? Jim Wills.
Hi, Jim. Welcome to the Red Horse, as it is. And what do you do?
I draw lines on panels. That's about it. That's all there is to it.
How long have you been drawing lines on panels?
Only about 3 years now. I'm still new to this.
What got you into it?
Watching other people's work, the people that are standing here, you know. You had some of the great artists right here.
So what do you do for a living normally?
I'm a mechanic, you know, auto mechanic and forklift mechanic.
You have any kind of cool classic cars?
I do. I got a 68 Suburban that I drove out here from New Jersey.
Fantastic. So where are you from?
Wantage, New Jersey.
And how did you find out about this little place in Pottstown, PA?
Hot Rod Jen invited me to this event, so I had to come out and check it out. You know, cool place.
Well, we're so glad to have you. We wish you the best of luck this weekend, and may your work sell like hotcakes.
All right, thank you.
The first annual Paint Huffers Union gathering here at the Red Horse Motoring Club has brought all sorts of artists to us, and it's brought this artist as well. Sir, your name?
Hoff,
Okay, and where did you come from?
Downingtown.
And how long have you been doing your artwork?
About 9 years.
So what did you do before that?
I was actually an exterior contractor, so just started getting into paint.
What got you into painting? How'd you decide to do that?
I used to work at a custom shop, And there was a guy doing it one day, and I decided to watch, and I got into it. And it's been like that since.
So is this your career now? Is this what you do?
Yeah, mostly. Do a little bit of sign installing too.
And so how did you find out about what was going on here in Pottstown?
Instagram. So they got a hold of me and asked me if I wanted to paint. And I said, sure.
Social media is the way to go these days, for sure.
Yeah.
So earlier we spoke to the guy that has the best beard here, but I think we may have found the guy with the best mustache here. How long does it take you to keep that bad boy polished up the way you do?
I think it took me like 3 years to grow it out, and so now it's just waxing, and then you get the curls.
It's very impressive. So good luck to you this whole weekend, and good luck to you in all your endeavors from here on out.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
We're at 3rd and Hanover here in Pottstown at the Red Horse Motoring Club's first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering, and we've been talking to the artists. And for the first time, we encounter a young lady. And your name?
I am Hot Rod Jen. That's my artist name.
Okay, Hot Rod Jen. And how long have you been doing your artwork?
I've been pinstriping around 15 years now. Yep.
And is there anything else that you do?
No, this is what I do for a living. I do pinstriping, lettering, gold leafing, anything that pertains what would come up with pinstriping a car, that's what I do.
Okay, so if you've been doing it for 15 years, you started when you were 5 years old. So how did you know that this was your life's work, that this was what you were going to do?
I love cars, I did not start when I was 5. But I always did artwork, and I always enjoyed old classic cars, and then eventually I was able to find something that combined the both of them. Yep.
And where are you from?
I live outside of Hershey. I'm in a small town called Hummelstown, Pennsylvania, and it's about like 2 hours from here.
Okay, so you're 2 hours from here. How'd you find out about us here in Pottstown?
I love Pottstown. I'm a swing dancer also, so I've been to Swing Cat a few times here in town, and then I met Chuck just here today, but he's friends with another artist, and they said they wanted to put this together, and I was like, I'm game, I'll come down. Yep.
Well, Hot Rod Jen, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for your interview.
Thank you.
I was wrong, now you're gone. I should have known from the start.
The Red Horse Motoring Club's first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering. And Egor, your name's been mentioned several times. Who do you know here?
No, Chuck, one of the owners. He used to live where I'm from in Virginia Beach. He was stationed in the Navy there, and he was nice enough to take me or use me as the artist with restoring his gas pumps and neon signs and all that. And then when he retired, moved back to Pennsylvania and opened this place up, and is nice enough to have been, still using me to do a bunch of the work for him. So
is that what you do? Is that what you do for a living?
yeah, I'm a sign painter, pinstriper, do numerous types of art. And, yep.
How long have you done that?
Going on about 15 years now. Yep.
What did you do before that?
Before that, I did window displays for a small chain of stores.
Okay, so how did you decide, you know what, I'm done with windows, I think I'm going to start painting?
From different people in my family, I've got family members that are into cars and family members that are artistic, and the two worlds just kind of grew together at some point, and I got into the pinstriping. And then that just naturally graduated into lettering and the whole world of a sign painter. So yeah, it's just the natural progression of things.
So certainly you've done a lot of painting. Have you ever seen anything like what we have here though with this club?
No, this is a special thing. Like I'm jealous that this isn't in my hometown. Yeah, whoever's here that lives around here, they should feel very lucky. This is a really cool thing.
Oh, I think I am lucky to be living in this area. We're really looking forward to what's going to happen here. Hope to see you here for years on out. The PCTV network is here at the Red Horse Motoring Club's first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering at the old Ludwig Motors building. And earlier we spoke to Chuck Harders, but you have to know that behind every man, there is a woman that makes him a success. Who are you, young lady?
Trisha MacGregor.
And how are you related to Chuck in any way?
I am Chuck's fiance.
And we were told to speak to you because apparently you're more like the brains behind this than he is. Is that true?
I don't know about that, but we definitely work well together. We bounce ideas off each other, and a lot of this here is the both of us.
So we've been walking around. This place is just amazing. I mean, what you're bringing to Pottstown is utterly amazing. People really need to know about this. So what were some of the thoughts that you put into it that we can look around and say, okay, this was Trisha's idea right here?
You know, I would have to say that it's kind of the colors and the decor is a lot to do with me bouncing ideas off of Chuck. I call him Wayne, if I call him Wayne. And we bounce ideas off each other. We do it at home, we do it here, and it works. It really works.
So when is the wedding date? When is this going to happen?
Probably in the spring.
Maybe we'll get a dry weekend sometime in the spring. We'll be able to enjoy that.
Yes, hopefully.
So as you're looking ahead as a vision here, okay, you guys are going to be married. You're in this thing together. What are you looking at, let's say, 5 years down the road? What do you hope this thing looks like?
I hope that this is the beginning of many. I hope to see Red Horse Motoring Club across the country, to be honest with you. I think it's just something that is unique, and I think it could be a benefit to any small town.
I'm looking around. I see all sorts of people here at this kickoff. These people are all part of the club, I would assume.
You know, they're not yet, but they'll probably want to be after hanging here tonight.
Absolutely. I know I want to be. You know, I had not even heard about this until I was asked to do these interviews. But this is amazing. So how does one join the club? What do we have to do?
Contact Chuck, Steve, or Dan. You can go on our website, fill out an application, and see what our requirements are and see if it's a good fit for you. If you love automobilia, cars, this is the place for you to be.
Well, I feel like if it was just a guy designing everything around here, it would just be like gas pumps and you know, posters and stuff like that. So really the color, the little pieces that you've added really does add to the beauty of what we have here.
I really do feel like it's the same here as it is at our home, is that we bounce ideas off each other, and it works. We work well together as far as that goes, and it shows here.
Well, it really does. We wish you the best of luck. Certainly wish you the best of luck with your marriage, and may this be the first of many Red Horses.
Thank you so much.
Upstairs at the Red Horse Motoring Club at their first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering, they have a little bar up here, and bump into the artists even up in the bar here. What's your name?
Jeff Shaler.
And Jeff, what do you do? What's your specialty?
I do artwork. I'm a painter by trade, and I do murals for Iron Hill, and I come and do outdoor shows like this and show at galleries.
How long have you been doing that?
Ever since I could get paid for it. Hold a paintbrush. I've been doing it professionally for 15 years. And then I did it in high school and all that kind of stuff. So I always knew I wanted to do this.
So this is what you do for a living. There's nothing else supplementing.
This is it. This is what I do. This is my own business. Yep.
How did you determine, you know what, this is for me. This is what I want to do with the rest of my life?
It was the only thing I was good at. I sucked at English and math, and I just knew that I could. I think I sold my first painting at the age of like 10. I used to paint mailboxes and stuff, and I was kind of like, I can make money at this. Let's do it. And I love it. So.
Now, I'm told that you're an expert in wax. Is this true, or the rumors circulating not true?
It's true. Yeah. I'll be humble. It is encaustic. It is wax. So I paint with about 180 degrees, and I paint while it's molten hot. And you got to be quick with it because it dries really quick.
Excellent. Where are you from? You from around these parts?
Downingtown, right down the end of Route 100.
And how'd you find out about what's going on here in Pottstown? How'd you find out about this place?
This place, I've heard a lot about what's going on in Pottstown, and I actually know Stone Glidden that did the sound system for it. It's a small world, and all of a sudden artists are talking, and then it's kind of on the map now.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here this weekend. We wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors here in the future.
Thank you. You too. Have a good one.
Up here in the bar of the Red Horse Motoring Club at their first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering. And not everyone here is an artist. We have a fella here. What's your name?
David Wasserman.
And David, what do you do for a living?
I'm a picker.
What do you pick?
I pick antique motorcycles and advertising and other unusual things you don't see all the time.
How long have you been doing that?
40 years.
Do you enjoy it?
Nothing better.
So what do you think was your best pick ever? Like you think back, man, that was the peak right there. Well, this was the thing I wanted. What'd you get?
My wife.
That is a smart answer, young man.
40 years.
You have any children?
Yeah, I have 3 kids that are all in their 30s and doing all kinds of fun stuff all over the world. And yeah, happy people.
And are you from these parts?
I'm from Morgantown, West Virginia.
Morgantown, West Virginia. How'd you find your way to Pottstown this weekend?
I came here as an invitation by Chuck to be here and show motorcycles.
How'd you meet Chuck?
Antique show, advertising, picking junk.
Now, earlier today, we thought we may have found the best beard at the entire facility, but I don't know. You got a pretty good one right here.
Thanks.
Have you had it all your life, or you just grow it out like in the last week or so?
I've had my beard for 35 years or so.
It looks fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for your interview. We look forward to seeing you again in years to come.
All right. Thank you very much.
All for you. I was wrong, now you're gone. I should have known from the start. Someone like you won't be blue.
Steve Karabatis in the Red Horse Motoring Club's first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering, and we're talking to a whole bunch of artists here. And this lovely young lady popped up. What is your name?
My name's Chrissy Whiskey.
And Chrissy, where are you from?
Gap, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And how long have you been doing art as a living?
Been painting for 13 years. For the past 4 years, I've been doing art full time.
What did you do before you did art full time?
All kinds of things. Clerical work. I worked at art galleries, and I was doing art marketing for other artists.
So when did you realize, you know what, I think I can make this a career. I think I'm going to make this a go. What spurred you on?
I was selling my artwork, and I was like, why am I working a 9-to-5 job if I can just do this for a living? So I just gave up the corporate world, and here I am.
Okay, and how did you find out about what's going on here this weekend?
Chuck reached out to me. He actually followed me on Instagram and told me he loved my art and asked if I would be willing to do this. And I was like, absolutely. This sounds fun.
And so do you often do art shows? Is this kind of your thing?
Yes. Whenever I can get out and like show off my art and show people what I do and live paint, I'm totally all for it. I actually built a cart that I bring outside and live paint all the time.
So if people wanted to follow you on Instagram or find out where your artwork is, how do they do that?
At Chrissy Whiskey, and it's KRISSYWHISKI.
Got it. We'll make sure we spell that correctly as well. Okay. Well, good luck to you this weekend. And we're going to see you here in years to come as well?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be painting till the day I die.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
I was wrong, now you're gone.
At the Red Horse Motoring Club's first annual Paint Huffers Union Gathering, I've been interviewing a lot of people, and some people just look important. You look important. Who are you?
Yeah, I'm Steve Everett. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm also Steve Karabatis. And so what is your role here?
I'm one of the owners and partners of the club.
How did you guys come to the conclusion that, you know what, we need to make a club like this?
Well, you know, Chuck and I were here in South Dakota last year for Sturgis, and we talked about what some goals we had were, and Chuck said, oh, I'd love to do a car club, and we were having fun, so we talked about what it would look like. And when we were in Sioux Falls, we stopped in this place, and we said, if we were to have a lounge in our club, we would want it to be this. So that was a little bit of inspiration of part of our space, but really starting a motoring club where everybody has access to a really amazing space and things that they may not normally have in their own garage, almost like a landing house for the local car groups. And that's what we did here.
Well, Sioux Falls, South Dakota is about a 30-hour drive from here. How'd you guys end up in Pottstown?
So we're Delaware County guys. We're actually about 45 minutes to an hour away, I was working with someone, and I'm in real estate, and she said, why not Pottstown, when I talked to her about, doing a car club. I said, well, why Pottstown? She says, well, one, it's got great architecture. You love architecture, and that's what you do in real estate, so why not? Then two, she says, it's really a huge car community, something I really had no clue about. When we came up here, we saw both things she said was true, and by default, we ended up with this building that was off market. The old Ludwig Motors, so when we walked through, it wasn't really big enough for what our dream was, but it's the perfect starter home for us, So we were able to create this environment, and the turnout's been amazing, so really good support here in Pottstown.
So far, a great first night here for sure. So how about this dream? You said this is a starter home for you, so to speak. What is the dream? What's the vision look like from here?
Yeah, I mean, we can see us taking this, locally, 3 or 4 more locations in the Tri-County, Tri-State area, and then possibly bringing it out to throughout the nation, making a big group, just making a really big, focus and following, It's something that most car areas don't have. Car guys, they have clubs, but they don't have a place to be. We want to be the place to be.
Well, this is certainly the place to be tonight. We wish you the best of luck in this endeavor. It looks like it's going to be a great weekend for you guys, and we look forward to this for many years to come.
Awesome. Thanks for thanks for being here, and thanks for your support.
Thank you, Steve.
Everybody on the upright bass fiddle, Mr. Johnny Ringo, come on!
We mean on.
Yeah, we really mean on the bass. Oh, man! That's not easy, man. Come on, that's not easy, come on! His yoga teacher taught him how to do that. Johnny! All right. Shoes, a rock and roll baby, a big of the blues, come on ride. Come on ride my blues away.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed what we've brought to you here from the Red Horse Motoring Club. I've enjoyed interviewing all sorts of people. I've learned a lot. And it's very interesting how far away some of these folks have come to be here tonight. I hope that you come on out here too. It's the old Ludwig Motors building. It's 3rd and Hanover Streets here in Pottstown. Great stuff happening in Pottstown. This is just the latest of those awesome things, and it sounds like they have a great plan for the future as well. So, Steve Karabatis, on behalf of everyone at PCTV, signing off. Have a great night.